because till now people are watching this, people are like, this guy is such a badass, he doesn't like Dhoni, he's anti-nationalist, he said shit about Raina, he said, and some people actually care about Raina. So there are very few, but they do. And then I said something about Sachin also, people were like, what is wrong with this guy, we should throw him out of the country. I had first written an article on him because, as I already told you, I had been following him because of my Nana, and then he came in and he was absolutely mesmerizing. So in 2009, and this is before even he won the World Cup. So I remember calling him, we used to call him MSD, right? So I call him the MSD, the full form is menacingly, stupefyingly dominance. Alright, hi everyone. This is Gaurav, and on the other side is Bikram. We're known as Blunt Bastards. Today's podcast is about something very important, and I want to make an announcement just before that. Till now, I don't know, you're probably 17 or 70 years old. You've always probably known, if you're Indian, or you've known 15 August as the day that India got independence. Well, it's been changed now. So NCERT books, all they're getting reprinted. Now, this is not the day India got independence. This is the day Mahendra Singh Dhoni retired. And Suresh Raina, but nobody cares about Suresh Raina. So that guy just like, well, I also want to retire. I mean, great player, but nobody cares. That's the honest truth. Just the way people don't care about us, so it's the same way. I'm just checking if the lights are okay. All right. So that has definitely changed for us. And if you end up watching this podcast, if you like the content, please like and subscribe, and also tell your friends, families, animals, everybody. I think everybody can subscribe. So subscriber. Even if it's a snake or a reptile, it's perfectly fine. Snakes are reptiles. So obviously I'm fluffing my terms. Now, where do we start? Now, I want to start with Mahendra Singh Dhoni's career when it started. I happen to know him, Bikram, even before his career started, because I used to hang out a lot with my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, my Nana, and he was really involved in cricket, a lot of sports, because he was from army. Now, he happened to tell me about Mahendra Singh Dhoni in around 2003. I was not even in the country, but I used to have phone calls with him, and he told me, like, this guy is really, really good. Like, you have to watch him. You have to watch him. I was like, I don't even get much cricket in Melbourne. So, that time there was not so much cable. And plus, they're not going to show some domestic cricket. I'm not even sure in India they showed domestic cricket. He was like, he played so well in the Deodhar Trophy or something. So I was like, I Googled it. I remember talking to you and I was like, Dhoni scored like back-to-back centuries in Deodhar Trophy and all. I stand corrected. He did not score back-to-back century. In fact, I think he scored half centuries and all. And he was playing for East Zone, who eventually ended up winning the trophy in 2003 and 4. I think he did score very highly in the semi-final and particularly final. Particularly, he was hitting those Gardner like sixes. Helicopter six later on got to know, and that's when he was telling the selectors, I see I'm here. In fact, where the selectors were sitting, like very high up, he was hitting them sixes so high so they can actually see who this guy is in the first place. And after that, from that Deodhar Trophy, he gets selected for the series overseas, but it was India A and a lot of A teams, and then he happens to score back-to-back centuries against Pakistan A. Now, if you score anything against Pakistan, then you know what's going to happen, right? You're going to be like, you're going to be the big shit. Now, I have a surprise for you. I didn't tell you this thing. That's why a lot of things I've not told you about the podcast, because it just ruins the surprise. Now, I have scorecard from that match. It happened on 16th of August, 2004. Just before Dhoni eventually started in December, right? In December the same year, 2004. So, he scores a century against Pakistan. Obviously, they win. Both matches they win. These are not useless centuries that India and Tendulkar used to score a lot. I always have to say something rude about Tendulkar. Now, he scored 120 and India won that match. But guess what? Who else scored a century in the same match? Somebody only you love. Like you love him.
Gautam
Gambhir. He scored even more than him. And people are like, Dhoni got selected, but nobody gives a shit about me. I scored 122. Dhoni scored 120. And I'm like, they're like, and he said, I scored in less balls. He scored in 13 balls. Yeah. Dhoni took 122. His strike rate was more than 107. Dhoni was 98. but people like, oh, Dhoni scored 100, and then he was like, okay. But then guess what?
That's where the rivalry started.
Rivalry started, right? So in the next match, again Dhoni scores a century, but guess who also scores very well? Gautam Gambhir again, 79. So it was pretty interesting that how Gautam. I keep finding this Gautam Gambhir elements after you've told me like how amazing Gautam Gambhir is. I've never noticed Gautam Gambhir was so amazing. I never even noticed. Like Suresh Raina, it's like he's good, but nobody cares. Nobody cares. So it's like that's been the case of the situation. I was like, nobody cares. So those are the stats I wanted to tell you. That was very interesting. Before we actually get into the thick of the things. Now, our podcast title is probably something called Dhoni, the greatest Indian captain. Now, when you say greatest Indian captain, it's a very weird term because like people are playing T20, people playing one-dayers, people playing test matches. But when you say greatest Indian captain, I would always say like it has to be something to do with test matches, right? You can't be a greatest Indian captain if you win like a bunch of T20 matches, right? Nobody even remembers who T20 captain is for Australia or was for Australia for a long time. By the way, people are completely forgotten about this guy. And I'm not going to say this guy's name. You please Google it before it got taken over by Aaron Finch. There was this guy. His name is George Bailey. He used to captain and nobody cares. He used to captain even one day international. Nobody cared about this guy. He was a specialist. So people have forgotten. People are like, did he even play for Australia? Is he even Australian? If I said he was South African, people would have totally believed it. People are like, oh, he was English. Yeah, definitely. Now, I want to ask you this question. Do you really think, short answer, do you really think he is the greatest captain? If he's not, then who is?
Greatest Indian captain? Or
yeah, he is Indian. Like, has he been captaining other teams as well?
No, I'm saying that no, because people generally say that he is the greatest ever in like compared to anyone else.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. I thought you were probably like, talking about IPL or something. I was like, has the world stooped so low that everything is about IPL? And you are actually saying he's the greatest captain ever?
I'm not saying.
Hold on a sec. I think Clive Lloyd just tweeted. I did not even know this guy was alive. He was like, what are you guys talking about, man? I'm still alive. And I'm still just 56. I'm like, you're still 56? Like, oh, he's not happy.
By the way, if you have not, if you don't know about Clive Lloyd, then you can check out our last podcast, which is on the West Indies cricket. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know how you call him. Like Ricky Ponting has won like 2 World Cups. Clive Lloyd has won 2 World Cups. Like seriously? Oh, that's another podcast.
I'm not saying.
Oh, they are saying.
Yeah, there are.
That's what she said.
Fanatics. Yeah, there are fanatics. There are fans. If you go to.
Oh, I know people
media.
They love. My friend Akash loves him. I have a friend, a girl. She loves him. Like there's so many people who love him, and there's another person who really like me. They love him. I think that she's from Ranchi, so I understand that everybody loves him. But I've known so many people like Akash absolutely loves him. I think he's probably watched that movie multiple times. Dhoni. I've not seen that film. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
So so the question was whether he is the greatest captain and Indian captain. For all the fanatics out there, we are not even comparing him with other great captains in the world. So talking about India, yeah, I would say that he was the greatest till a certain point in time. And so that is my short and sweet answer.
Who do you think is the greatest captain?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say Virat Kohli right now because he still has to prove a lot of things. Plus, he has not won any ICC trophies. But I would consider Sourav Ganguly better than him for certain reasons.
I personally think Virat Kohli is definitely the best captain India has ever had, above Sourav Ganguly and definitely Mahendra Singh Dhoni, because absolutely what happened in the Test cricket, the guy just completely copped out. So for that matter, how many matches he's lost? We're going to obviously get to that, and I'm going to show you that why I'm picking Virat Kohli, who's definitely not won ICC tournament, but there are a lot of problems with that situation when you're winning the tournaments. It's like saying Gareth Bale will never ever win a World Cup because the guy was born in Wales. Wales does not qualify for anything. What can he do? It's kind of very difficult, right? When you're you're born, you're such a great player, but your country has to be great as well.
No, I think there's no doubt about Test because this was one of our first podcasts where we spoke about who is the greatest Test captain, Indian Test captain, and we already declared that Virat Kohli is the greatest. But yeah, I mean overall, I think to a certain point. But if you take his whole career, everything, then I would say he's not the greatest, obviously. But if you just take a a slice of time, in that period he was probably the greatest, and don't forget, under his captaincy only our test team became number one in the world, and
Yeah,
it stayed
what a
there for.
ridiculous logic that is, because right now I just got a tweet, but obviously you've had your like, I just saw Ajinkya Rane saying like, well, that's life of that logic. I'm also the greatest captain. I've done two test matches, won all of them, and then
Yeah.
we won the series against Australia. I'm the greatest. Thank you, Vikram. Love you, love you. He said, I'm like, just give him money. We don't care about your love yous. So with that logic, there'll be a lot of people, right? You agree with that, right? With that logic,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
slice of thing,
Yeah.
because the certain things happen. India did become number one, and I'm going to get to the fact which I've not shared with you, but you already probably know. But I'll just remind you, jog your memory, what happened after that world number one shit happened to
Oh
India.
yeah, I know that.
You know that, of course.
That's
But I'm going to give you
world famous.
stats because you'll not remember. I did not remember exact stats, but I have the stats right now, right in front of me, staring at
Okay.
my face. Now, what do you think about the first thing of him hijacking 15th August? We're not even getting into Suresh Raina. They're just getting into this guy and typing in some kind of childlike English. Probably his daughter was typing. So saying that he retires on 15th of August. It took him, first of all, you just say, okay, no, I'm going to ask a full question because that will be confusing. It took him more than 13 months because the last match he ever played against for India. So, I mean, it's not just last match. It's about like, he's been literally waiting. People were like, will he even play 2019 World Cup? So it was already
Yeah.
a stretch, right? Because by the time he hits the next World Cup, he'll be 42 years old. Okay. So
Yeah.
it was already a stretch. Will he even play that? Because he'll be turning 38 or something. But he played. Now he's not going to play the next World Cup. Poor Rishabh Pant is like there. The guy is already getting married to somebody because he's so depressed. Okay, the guy's like, he's 22 now, but he was 21 then. He is literally just cock blocking him from like getting in. And that's not fair, because I'm just saying, if same thing was happening with Dhoni when Dhoni was 22 and other persons like some wicket keeper, I don't even had any wicket keeper, but somebody who's like
Yeah,
almost
there's
40
Dinesh
years,
Karthik.
yeah, almost 40
Dinesh
years old
Karthik was-
and refused to just leave because he's like,
Oh,
I'm the
okay.
royalty. I'm the royalty.
Yeah,
I'm the
yeah.
deal. I'm not going to declare. What takes somebody, I have my theory, obviously, I've told you my theory. What takes somebody 13 plus months to declare? And if he really loves 15 August, people are like, oh, he likes 15 August. Dude, did the 15 August not show up last year? Just was like just a sleep year or something? Is like never happened. He could have easily done that last year. But I obviously have my theory. It's money, money, money. But yeah, what's your theory?
Yeah, I think that is also there. Money is also there, but I think the reason would be that I think he was very hopeful that he'll play the T20 World Cup, which was supposed to happen this year, and I think his idea was to just just retire completely whenever the time comes. So I'm sure he knew that he's not going to play one day cricket anymore, because obviously in one day they would be planning for future, right? So why would they play him? And then I think it was all about T20 World Cup. He was hopeful that he'll play the T20 World Cup, because if you see the timing, and there was IPL, and then after IPL they would have picked the team or between the IPL they would have picked the team for the T20 World Cup. So I think his idea was that I'll have a excellent IPL and then I'll play the T20 World Cup and retire on a high. Probably that's my understanding. May not be true.
You're
But
on
yeah,
a
the
high.
money
So
factor was
17-year-old
also there.
people, yes, 17-year-old kids, 15-year-old, not 17, 15, because that's when you smoke weed. By 17, you already give up. You're done. Trust me, I've had students who are 18. It's like, oh, I'm done with weed. I'm done with sex. I'm done with everything. And I'm
Wow.
like, how old are you? I'm turning 18. Oh, so you're turning 18. It's like, okay. I was probably born in a different world. And I'm talking India. I'm not talking California. I'm not talking about Zurich or Amsterdam or something. I'm talking New Delhi. And that also not very, not rural, but South Delhi, right?
Not South Delhi.
So, sorry, I got distracted. So, I think when you just saying this, I didn't actually think exactly about that. I think you had mentioned, but I was just probably not paying attention. But now when you say it, logically it makes sense, because then these guys saying like, okay, the coronavirus showed up, but then they already recently declared that things were not going to happen. It gets pushed to next year, and now people not sure how far it's going to be anyway next year. And now he said, if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it on 15 August because I am Army Singh Dhoni, right? So, and everybody loves it, because for me, it's just like this nationalistic fervor has only escalated since BJP took over, right? I never noticed him doing so much before. Maybe there was some whiff of it, but I think since BJP has taken over, since all the money has been involved, if you Google him, how much is his net worth? Please, you don't Google him without really tying yourself to something or making sure your chair and everything is like top quality, because you're gonna you're going to fall down because officially, and by the way, for Indian people, you realize he's not Reliance, right? So Reliance people have to declare, but anybody regular, they will not declare their property, right? Or whatever stuff is happening. So officially, when it lists 111 million, which is actually around 1,000 crores or something. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Officially, if it's listed that means this guy probably has like at least 5 to 10,000 crores somewhere, everywhere. Now, and obviously
and
this podcast,
the declared wealth. There'd be
that's the declared wealth. That's what I'm saying. That's the declared wealth. My point was that your logic sounds very logical. My conspiracy theory is, and which is also logical, the fact is that the moment you retire, obviously you'll not get more and more endorsements, right? That's one thing. That's obviously common sense. Do you think when Sachin Tendulkar retires, he'll get more money or less money? That's common sense, less money. Other thing is, they could be, and they would definitely be. See, when you sign a contract, right, with a company, you say like, okay, 5-year contract, you sign in 2015 till 2020. And probably a part of the contract says if you end up retiring or you never play for India or something like that, clauses are always there, right? So
always there.
you will, the partial percentage will be taken away or you'll not get paid, things like that, right? So if the person keeps himself available, also he gets paid for the contract that with BCCI, right? Which is not a big money for him. For people like us, we'll be like, okay, we're retiring right now. The moment you get the contract, we're retired. He's like, no, you have to play now. You have to play.
Yeah.
So those kind of things happen. Like and we're talking big money. These guys are like, we're talking big money because these guys, people probably earn 10 crores in a day or something like that. So, right, we're talking really, really big money. And every day that you waste, every day you say like, okay, I'm just going to retire. I'm going to tell people I'm gone. You lose money and the contracts are there. A lot of factors come into play. So I think those factors are there. But that's my conspiracy theory, which is logical. Your logical theory is there that he wanted to play T20.
Yeah, I think that's also,
I was just saying that could have
there.
just declared for one day international at least. But as you said, he wouldn't do it because he's already done that for test matches. And his Instagram was not probably working at that time.
Yeah, that's what I think. Your logic is also sound. And I think it's the combination of both the things which I said and what you said about it. Because money is always the factor, and the decisions he has made in his life apart from cricket, it seems he is money minded, and that there's no harm in that, right? Everyone wants some money, but
So there's the harm in it. I mean, that's another podcast. Of course, there's harm in it. There's a harm in not saying that you want your child to be educated, but there's a harm in saying I already have 16,000 crores and I want 100,000 crore more, because that could be actually given to other people. Guess how much money did he give for the coronavirus thing? Then don't even get me to that thing. I mean, that was another huge problem. And people are like, how much money did you give, Gaurav? I was like, listen, I'm trying and I've not tried as hard and I'm guilty for that. I'm openly saying that. But will Dhoni come out and say that? And I don't even have any money. And Bikram, you know as much as well.
And I think that depends on, you can't compare your whatever your contribution would be or my contribution would be to Dhoni, because his net worth is million times more than us.
Exactly. And so that's what I'm saying, right? You know exactly what my net worth is, right? Of all the people. So you know, and I can't really sell, like can't send my folks to the pilgrimage and sell the house in between, just like that they did in the Andaz Apna Apna, right? So that property is there, which is apparently somehow again given to me in my name. I just duped them into it. But now they don't go to pilgrimages, particularly now there's coronavirus and everything. We want to like stay inside. So it's very difficult to sell it. You know, you have to get rid of them to sell it. Now he has the highest, he's the world record, and because you've seen my notes, you might have seen it. I don't know if you knew that already, but he probably has in one day, I didn't check, probably he has it in one day international. In IPL is the world record for maximum not outs. He's the only person who has half century in not outs. He has 65. The second highest is 48. Apparently, for whatever reason, is Ravindra Jadeja. And Yusuf Pathan,
because of his
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think it's because of his batting position, Ravindra Jadeja, because he also...
And Harbhajan Singh has 30 odd or something. So their batting position, but 65, that's something like, I'm not getting out.
And
so
all
the main
three of
motive...
them play for... And all three of them play for Chennai.
Oh, no coincidence. Their motto is to never get out. So like, wasn't the motto supposed to be not never lose? It's like, what are you talking about? Never get out. If you don't get out, you don't lose.
Song is it?
They're saying if you don't get out, you don't lose. It's like, that's like tiki-taka football that they were saying, right? In Barcelona, it's like, if you have the ball, how can the other people win? But they won. They won. That's the problem, because whatever you're doing, you're just back passing, right? Okay. Now, interestingly, I started blogging officially in 2012 February, but I just found my original blog when I was researching, I was telling you I have already written I written about Dhoni because till now people are watching this. People are like, this guy is such a badass. He doesn't like Dhoni. He's anti-nationalist. He said shit about Raina. He said, and some people actually care about Raina. So there are very few, but they do. There's a Twitter group.
All CSK fans.
All
actually
CSK
care
fans,
about
exactly.
it.
And then I said something about Sachin also. People were like, what is wrong with this guy? We should throw him out of the country. I said, please do. Please, somebody please do. Okay. I had first written an article on him because as I already told you, I had been following him because of my Nana, and then he came in and he was absolutely mesmerizing. So in 2009, and this is before even he won the World Cup, I think I found the article because I used to email myself. So I found the email on 5th of February 2009. So I'm pretty sure I've written it. That's the time I actually sent it to Times of India. They never published it. So then the first time I actually sent it seemed like when I first sent it was probably written in January 2009, which is much before the World Cup win, which happened in 2011, right? So I remember calling him. We used to call him MSD, right? So I call him the MSD. The full form is menacingly, stupefyingly dominance. That MSD is, and I call it intrepid, which means brave, clinical, which means like, you do what you have to do, which he has been clinical, to be fair, and decisive. I think I take back the brave, I take back the decisive. Clinical, he's still been clinical, fair enough, but he was definitely not menacing or stupefying or dominant. And a lot of things changed. I think for me, when I always tell you that this guy, everything changed for me when for Tendulkar on that day. Specific day is 31st January 1999, and I remember watching this match. And that day India needed 17 runs to win against Pakistan in the third Test match or something. Not third, probably first. I'm not sure which Test match it was. I think it could have been first in India. And Tendulkar was playing at a very high score, around 130 odd. And then he tried to flick Saqlain Mushtaq over the infield, over the point or something, and then he gets caught. And then they still had 3 more players and they could not make 40. In fact, they got out in the next 2 runs and Pakistan ended up winning by 12 runs. And everybody blamed Tendulkar for that defeat because what are you trying to do? You gave away a wicket, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And after that, Tendulkar decided that I'm never going to get out. It's the same strategy that CSK or Dhoni has been following, don't get out. So it was never about winning, and it was all about never getting out and just prizing a wicket so much that forget about what. In fact, other day, Rahul Dravid, I read a remark from him that Rahul Dravid said that when you were playing with Dhoni, it felt like he didn't even care about I think he was probably saying in a positive way. I'm trying to spin it in the negative. I didn't read the article. But he said when you were playing with Dhoni, it did not seem like he actually was concerned about the result of the match. He was just playing. Like, he was just weird. I didn't read the whole article, so I don't know. I'm sure if it's Rahul Dravid, he's probably not saying anything negative. Rahul Dravid has never said anything negative about anybody.
Yeah,
that's why he never talks about Hitler or Jeffrey Epstein or Harvey Weinstein or me, for that matter. So my point was where was I? So for me, Dhoni, everything changed for me about Dhoni was that, I don't know if you remember this test in your memory particularly, the third test against third test against West Indies in 2011. That specific test completely changed everything for me, whatever. And for me, till then, from the time he started and when I found out who Dhoni was in 2003-04, when he started for India in 4, then he won the World Cup. Before that, he had won the World Cup in 2007, right? That was the T20 World Cup.
T20,
and then 2013 Champions Trophy. Who cares about Champions Trophy? So, so I felt
Pakistan does.
Pakistan does, right? So on 10th of July 2011, just the way 31st January 1999, 10th of July 2011, that somebody rightly said it was a black day for cricket. And for me, I think that's the day the legend of Dhoni died for me, personally. Now, just to give a bit of an insight to people who don't know much about this test match, this was in West Indies. India had won the first match, and second match India had drawn because of just terrible decisions, simply refusing to declare because it was still raining and they were refusing to declare. Eventually they ran out of overs, could not get them out. In the third match, eventually India had to chase 180 runs, and before that, by the way, West Indies already had Shivnarayan Chanderpaul, another genius, had already scored centuries, and in the first innings they scored badly. In the second inning they scored more than 300 runs, so pitch was placid, pitch was amazing. Now these guys are only 180 runs to chase in 47 overs. Think about right now with IPL. By the way, IPL are already started, and these guys are already double defending champions in IPL. So when you think 47 overs, test match, 180 runs, that doesn't sound like much, does it? Because that's not even 4 runs an over. This is 3.5 runs an over. Okay, and less than that, by the way. Or just over. I'm confused. Less than that, more than that. Just slightly over. What?
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay, my math is really good, but something like 3.5 or something. Now, the worst part was India didn't even try. Now, what happened in this thing? First of all, India just gave up. Like, how would you give up? And by the way, you just said, right, India became number one team. India were number one team in the world. We were defending world champions, ODI. We were world number in test matches. West Indies was shit. We had them, like, can we use the word right now? Grovel? So, this podcast is going to get a lot of negative reviews. So, we had them down.
Definitely not getting approved by Google, this one.
We had them down. I don't know what grovel is. My English is bad. That's why I use that. So, I thought it was like a nice word. So, we had them down. 180 runs, 47 overs. Then we decide somehow, Mahendra Singh Dhoni decides that we're not going to chase. We had great batsmen. We have his VVS Lakshman, Virat Kohli, MS Dhoni, Rahul Dravid, everybody's there. But we're like, we're not going to chase. So what they do is they make 94 runs in 32 overs. And we still have 15 overs to go. And then we have to 86 runs in 15 overs?
Yeah.
And I'm like, how difficult is that? And we only lost 3 wickets, by the way. Okay. And then guess what happens? We don't even try. We just shake hands and say, okay, we're done. We are so scared that we'll lose. How on earth will you lose? And why would you never try? By the way, on the same day, I just want to tell everybody that 12,000 people were there in the stadium. And 12,000 people in West Indies means for a test match, that's maximum crowd. The stadium was packed. And then people tell me why nobody wants to watch test cricket because test cricket is boring and other thing. No, cricketers are killing test cricket by doing something like that. Why on earth would you not play? Imagine, Bikram, you go to a match, specifically for a test match on the 5th day, you pay so much money for the tickets, you sit down and then you see these people not even trying and then shaking hands and not even playing 15 overs. How do you explain that? And that's how I was telling you, I was very angry. Trust me, I'm much less angry. In the morning, I was absolutely furious. I want to break somebody's neck. Probably my own. And if I was a butcher, probably some hens. Again, animal activists like, fuck this guy. So I was like, that day I was like, what are they doing? This is world number 1 team. Can you actually imagine any Australian team or any self-respecting human, anybody who loves cricket, would simply just give up? Just give up. Just do not try. Can you imagine? Explain to people again who have not understood this thing. 180 runs to win, 47 overs. India's world number 1 team in the world, defending world champions in ODI, number 1 team in Test cricket. We do not even try. We just give up. We just shake hands.
Playing against
West Indies.
Playing against West Indies. That's
minnows.
Also,
fucking minnows, mate. Right. So this thing is, and that's when, by the way, that's when we say like he's the greatest ever captain. Nobody, no matter what he does after this, he's never going to be my captain because he's finished. I love this guy. That's why I try to be fair. I've always loved this guy till that time. And then obviously signs were there before that also. But when this happened, I knew. In the second test that the signs were there. But when he did this in the third test, this was a fucking black day for cricket because it destroyed me. It destroyed cricket for me. That's why no wonder I watch football all the time because nobody will do that in football. Can you imagine football like, oh, extra time, we're going to play extra time. No, shake hands. We'll just go home. We'll just go home. What do you mean you go home? How the hell do you go home? You play the goddamn game, right? First of all, you're not even playing. At least play the 15 overs and say, okay, now we cannot chase it. Fine, fair enough. And I'll tell you exactly what he said. Mahendra Singh Dhoni said after the match, this guy, he said that not disappointed about it. We did well in the game. They batted well actually, and we are not disappointed in any way. I am exactly reading verbatim, word to word what he said. He's not disappointed in any way. The day I'm calling the black day of cricket, which destroyed Test cricket, he says he's not disappointed. That's the day I know this guy doesn't care about cricket. That's the day he doesn't care about cricket. I'm going to go on to read this thing. We were risking a series win, going for the target. You're risking series win. You're the number 1 team, 180 runs to score. The team had just scored 324. Pitch was placid. You're risking win. We realized that it was not worth going for it. We realized. Who is we? After those wickets, we gave it a go. No, you did not. You shook hands. We are happy with the series win. The first 2 words I want to talk about, and everybody who loves Dhoni and watched that fucking movie that I did not watch, which says Dhoni, which just idolized him. He said, we were risking a series win. Dude, you just won the World Cup. You just won 2 IPLs. Okay, your team is the world number 1. You just have so much money. Now, remember when you were 21 and 22 years old, I'm talking to Mahendra Singh Dhoni, or 21, 20, you had the TTE job. And Bikram, you know, nobody gets that fucking TTE job when you're 21, 22, right? And he had that TTE job. And that was a secure job. And that's the time you risk everything. You risk everything to go for the Indian cricket team, to play cricket. Okay, now you're saying you're risking losing a match, so you will not even play cricket because you already have 1,000 crores in your bank? And that's what you're risking. What the hell are you risking? The trouble is when you're hungry, right? When you don't have much money, that's the time you're ready to go for everything. When your stomach is full, in fact, over full, you fucking forget about everything. Right now, who cares? I'm not going to risk anything. Now you don't want to risk anything. He's like, I've won everything. I'm done. You should have retired at that point in time, right after that match, in the middle of that match, in fact. Because you should have told Virat Kohli in that match that, buddy, I can't do this anymore. By the way, you did that anyway later on. I can't do this anymore. You take over. And Virat Kohli would have just lovingly taken over. And that's why I feel Virat Kohli, he has not won a lot of things. In IPL, he's been shit. But not for the want of trying. The guy goes out every single time he tries. His team has been shit. I completely agree with that. But I'm saying he will never do what Dhoni did that day. And that's what is different between Virat Kohli. And the difference is intent. When you go out on the pitch, and Virat Kohli said multiple times, if I don't go out and I don't have intent, I'm going to retire the same day. And that's what I'll never hear from Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So, excuse me for being like completely rude about this thing, but this is something which is I just simply don't understand. I simply did not understand this.
Yeah, and I think we have talked about it earlier in a lot of cricket podcasts that after winning the World Cup, something changed inside him, and after that he became defensive. And this is one of the extreme examples. There are also smaller examples, a lot of innings where he completely refused to take risk and just left it very late at the end, or left it on the other partner, like the World Cup semi-final. But I think that's what happens. And it's like this is a thing which I've seen with a lot of people when they become big, when they have a reputation to save, right? Then they become very defensive. And I think I completely agree with you on Virat Kohli. He will do anything to win the match, right? In fact, I've seen him sending people in his place. I've seen him sending Rahul at number 3 in some matches, in T20 matches, and a lot of places. He has never cared about his score. He's always cared about winning the match. There was an instance, I think there was a match in South Africa where the pitch was so bad that the opposition didn't want to play, and this guy was like furious. I want to play, I want to continue, because he wanted to level the series there. Not level the series, win the series was already lost. He just wanted to win that match, to make it 2-1, and that's the difference I think between Dhoni. If Dhoni was there in that test match, I'm talking about 2018 India's tour of South Africa. So we had already lost 2 matches, and the third match was happening. I don't remember which one, which place, but the pitch was so bad and the ball was just bouncing from any length, and the South Africans didn't want to play. They wanted the match to be abandoned, but this guy stood there and said, no, I won't agree to that. And they played and they won the match. By that time the series was already lost. If Dhoni was there, he would have said, yeah, we are happy. We are happy to, we played well in the series and all that. And let's just end this here. So, I think that's the biggest difference between Dhoni and Kohli right now. Maybe after 2 years, Kohli might also change. Who knows?
No, I don't think Kohli will change. If Kohli changes, I'll probably fucking kill myself. This is just so stupid. Because Virat Kohli is somebody like, if this guy changes, because everybody we've had in our life, like all our idols, including Tendulkar or Mr. Bachchan or Dhoni, eventually they just become like absolute pussies. So eventually what's the whole point of it? And if Virat Kohli becomes a pussy, then I don't know why should we even care for anybody? Because this guy is something who's actually like played cricket. Like every time he's on the pitch, he's here to win. I think if Virat Kohli is losing a goddamn one-day international, a fucking T20 match, and that is also IPL, in the middle of it, somebody tells him, if you sell me your kidney, you will win the match. He will fucking sell his kidney. Give them his kidney. Because that's the kind of person he is. And that's the kind of person you need. Because if you're going to wear tricolors, when people, Tendulkar always used to say, Dhoni always say, I'm playing, it's a pride for country. No, it's pride if you're playing something, if you're doing something for the country, you get paid $8,000 after the month ends. Okay, when the month ends. Not when you get paid 800 crores at the end of the year.
Exactly.
Okay, that's not service. Everybody wants to play for India, by the way. Okay, you're not doing any fucking service to anybody. It's a dream for everyone to play for India. Okay, if you're gonna go, it's nice to go to army right now when you're all the nice person, they give you all these nice positions, everything. No, you become a soldier, become a sepoy and get stationed. Don't get any amenities. That's when you're a real person, right? You don't disappear from me. I'm gonna come back to the point without getting like completely agitated by this thing, because when you're number one, right, it's an aura. The same thing aura had West Indian cricket in the 70s and 80s, then the Australian cricket in late 90s and early part of 2000, right? It's an aura. So when this happened, first thing I knew, right away they were going to England. What they needed to do, they win this match, show them intent and go to England, say like, we have something. Guess what happened to English team is like, these guys, they're fucking pussies. They're not going to do anything. And then guess what happens? They get trounced 4-0 in England. Okay. And then they go to Australia. Then they get trounced 3-0 in Australia. Then they come to India, they win a lot of matches. Then they go to South Africa, then they get trounced there. They end up drawing because Mahendra Singh Dhoni, let's not get out. So they draw one match, they lose one match. They go to New Zealand. And by the way, Mahendra Singh Dhoni started with New Zealand and they won in New Zealand overseas. And then they lose to New Zealand again. And then they come to England and then they lose in England as well. They actually end up winning one match. They lose 3 and draw 1. Then they go to Australia. He loses the first match. Second match, he ends up drawing. And this guy just randomly just retires. Without even bothering that who's going to captain India. Because by the time it was not clear that Virat Kohli will definitely. But at least you got to give somebody time, right? I'm not ready. In the middle of series, in the middle of the most difficult series against Australia, you're saying I'm retiring.
You already lost the series. So it's a very bad time to leave your team, right? When you're already lost the series and you have one match to play, which, see, you need motivation to do things, right? And in the middle of that period, you leave the team and you just say I'm retiring from the cricket itself, test cricket itself. That sends very bad signal, like, oh, that means he is mentally fatigued, right? And he didn't even play all the 3 matches. First match he was injured. First match was captained by Virat Kohli.
There were 3 matches. Yeah. There were definitely 4 matches.
Yeah, so first match he was...
he retired in the third match then, because I'm seeing statistics. It says 2 matches were Virat Kohli, 2 matches was him. So if he didn't play the first, and then Virat must have... fourth match, yeah.
So third match he retires.
Okay, which was a draw. And he didn't want to retire on a... By the way, that was also very selfish because he didn't want to retire on a... do you think he got more tired after a match? No, he just said like, this is a draw match. It's much better to retire on a match which is drawn than actually shown on my CV as a match which was lost. Which was, by the way, the back-to-back victory. Apart from that one victory in England, this was back-to-back 4-3, 3-10, 11, 12, I don't know, 16, 12, 13 matches on the trot overseas losses. So yeah,
right.
Which is something you can't ignore. Because by the way, I just read a stat that he said said he retired at the right time. If he had continued playing in Australia and probably gone and lost those couple of matches because he didn't play one match, right? And then gone to one more tour, he would have been the most defeated captain in the history.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, because he was getting so close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's also there. Yeah, I think we noticed it during that time as well when there was a losing streak. As you mentioned, I didn't even remember how that many times we lost, but yeah. Now, when you tell me, I remember that we were continuously losing everywhere. And I think we lost in India as well to England, something like that. And so there was a lot of criticism at that time. And actually, I was...
Yes, we did. Yeah. It was like, oh, I got it. Because I'm just skipping the India part. I thought we would have just won everything in India. We actually lost
so we lost in India, which is
super genius.
Saurav Ganguly once said in an interview that in India, I will say in Hindi because it generates better effect. So he said, India में तो कुछ नहीं, autopilot में चलता है. You just tell the bowler to bowl and you just sleep on the field. Even then you will win.
Because by the way, he's not wrong because he actually did that. He used to fall asleep in the middle. Like, oh, Dada, wake up. Okay, calm. Match खत्म हो गया. We won everyone.
So he said that. So he said that in an interview that winning in India was nothing. It's just bowlers used to do everything. I didn't have to do anything in like captaincy wise. So even then we lost in India. That was the big thing. Losing outside was anyway very common for us, but losing in that manner, like losing everything, not giving up a fight, so that was something which was already being talked about. And I remember we used to talk about with my friends who were interested in test cricket, and they used to say that I don't know what happens with Dhoni, he just suddenly becomes so defensive, and this has been the trend after the World Cup win.
This exactly happened after the World Cup win. I was just checking the numbers also. I'm making sure I'm not actually saying something which is not, because India had just won the World Cup before this thing happened.
Exactly. So he suddenly became defensive for some reason, and I think that's what I was saying, that in India I've seen a lot of people, not just in cricket, seen a lot of people, as you said, Mr. Bachchan, in other areas as well, that they, once they have a reputation, right, which they can lose, they become very obsessed with being right all the time, right, being looking, not
Yeah,
hurting
they want to
anyone,
defend. They want to make sure that
defend.
their
Yeah,
position is always upright.
always out there.
Whatever
Yeah.
reputation is, they always show up for that reputation. That's why you have to respect. We have to respect Viren Sehwag. He did not
Yeah.
with everything. So if people like you have bad fitness, so you're like I have to maintain that reputation. So
So
and
yeah,
yeah.
that was yeah. That's why I think a lot of people like Viren Sehwag, and I have and he just played the way he knew, even though when he was failing and all that, he didn't want to defend, because he can't defend, right? He can't make runs while defending. That was his philosophy. So yeah, and that's what this was a big change happening in Dhoni. And when people say, oh, he was so cool and everything, but there are a lot of instances
Oh
happening
boy.
later on. Yeah, happening later on, not just in IPL, in other international matches also. I think once he abused what's his name, some batsman on the pitch, I think Tiwari, not Tiwari, forgetting his name, he's also Kannadiga. So once he abused, and that got caught on the camera, once he abused this guy, Kuldeep. So yeah, I think it's like sometimes it felt like it's all a facade, whatever we are seeing, and behind that facade a lot of things are happening which we don't know. And this also shows in the movie. I know you have not watched the movie, but in the movie it basically shows that after he got in the Indian team, he didn't put any wrong foot at all. He just like completely changed Indian cricket. There was no one was required. He was the only one to, who just completely changed the face of the Indian cricket. Then he dropped. There's a mention in the movie about him dropping Viren Sehwag, and they don't say that we are dropping Viren Sehwag and Saurav Ganguly, but you know what they are referring to. So there is that point where they say that, oh, they are not fit to play right now. But later on, that's what happened to him, right? He was not fit to play in a lot of those kind of matches, those kind of tours. And yeah, that's
I think he was right to drop whatever the fitness issues were there for Virat. No
yeah,
matter,
yeah.
because I think Viren Sehwag was an absolutely miraculous batsman, something completely different. But when he was asked not to play anymore, his batting average was going down, his fitness was going down, so that was fair. And you're right, the same logic applies to Mahendra Singh Dhoni as well. But right now he's royalty, right? Plus he's already hijacked the 15 August thing now. He's like the Dhoni retirement day. So you'll have 3 national holidays now. Gandhi birthday. Then obviously 26 January, and then this Dhoni retirement day. Eventually it will get changed. You'll still have 3. Don't worry. It will be one is on his daughter's birthday. So that will be Mahatma Gandhi thing will be gone. So
Or whenever he retires from IPL. I think
Nation's
that would be a
Daughter
good
Day,
reason.
Nation's Daughter Day or something it will become. Then it will be one on his wife's birthday or something, whenever that is, or depending whatever Mahendra Singh Dhoni does. So eventually, because our country is pretty much like whatever Mahendra Singh Dhoni decides, Amitabh Bachchan or something. But eventually Amitabh Bachchan will pass, right? So Dhoni will live for a long time. So this guy will probably just creating those cryogenic, I can't even pronounce this. You know those things that the
Cryogenic,
cells,
yeah.
cryogenic cells that you. It's the same way the Mike Myers did in those Spy Who Shagged Me, Austin Power movies. You know,
It's a real thing, actually,
you get
yeah.
frozen and you're like, oh, I'm gonna live forever. So I'm gonna live forever. Oh, talking about that, because I'm not sure if I have like after that I've not really followed him so much, and I could have done a lot of research on this thing and just given you a few more stats, but I'm like, I don't know. But I know that he lost a lot of finals in IPL, right? They won back to back then, and then apart from that freak show that Shane Watson did last year, that he scored like a century in the final match, they had lost like 3 or 4 times in the final before that. So I'm saying when you're captain cool and the final crunch game comes, right, people knew that there is some weakness and they stuck to it. I'm just saying it's not probably his fault, but I'm saying he did lose a lot of finals. Why are we not talking about that? And when you talk about the biggest thing that I've ever seen of this guy losing cool, now him walking on the pitch that day, right, and fighting with the umpire, specifically
That was bad.
Gatke or somebody. Well, who the fuck do you think you are? I mean, what the hell? Have I never seen? Only thing I've seen worse than that is Kepa Arrizabalaga, another difficult name, who refused to get substituted when their
yeah.
coach Sari said, "You get substituted," because he's like, "I'm not coming out. I'm not coming out. I'm not." The guy absolutely refused to get substituted in a fucking EPL match. Like, English Premier League is the biggest league in the entire history. These guys get paid like fucking gazillion amount of money every week. And this guy said, "I'm not coming off the pitch." I was like, I've never seen something like that ever. And that was I would say the same thing which Sean Tate said to in his comment to Dhoni, that, dude, this is not village cricket. This is not under 10s. He said, this is not under 10s. Now, I figured out one thing, and then you can actually give me your view on this thing. I felt like that nobody had the balls apart from Manjrekar, and guess what happened to Manjrekar, to actually call him out on this thing. A lot of people called him out, but always remember, if your livelihood is not reliant on IPL, BCCI, or somewhere in Indian cricket, you're not saying anything. Because everybody who said, like Michael Vaughan, who has nothing to do with India, Steve Waugh, or Sean Tate, he's already retired from IPL, he can't play. So all those people are saying, apart from Manjrekar, who was actually still under contract with BCCI at some level, right? And the guy got eventually like, all right, we're going to savor this toy. Manjrekar, you can make your own podcast. Guy already, stop competing with our podcast, Manjrekar. Please do something else.
Oh yeah, he has started a podcast.
Yeah, he has. So people called it a village cricket. And I'm like, what do you think about that? I mean, and he got apparently fined 50% the fee. 50%. Okay. Now, that's that. And I remember even Stephen Fleming. I mean, I respect a lot of people from overseas, particularly Stephen Fleming. The guy simply did not say anything when they were interviewing after the match. He's like, he will be questioned. He says, "So you think he was wrong?" He said, and you can read his statement. The guy simply refused to say anything. He's like, we're going to talk to him. That's about it. So yeah, it's like people refuse to say he's wrong. Dude, he is so obviously wrong. You can't, because that something has never happened ever. With a really terrible precedent you're sending. I mean, like, come on, can you imagine? You're a player. You're not an official. Nobody goes inside the pitch. It's like, oh, what the hell is going on?
After getting out, yeah. I mean,
and by the way,
that's
so crazy, right? This did not even happen in West Indies in 70s. In 100 years ago, when there were like no rules, remember when the matches used to get over, all the crowd would come in, right? And imagine, even then it never happened, and now it's happening in 2019 or something. Crazy stuff, man. What do you think about that?
and in IPL of all things, because whatever you say, IPL is a big thing, right? But
it's a big shit, man.
Yeah, but it's not something, to lose your reputation, because that's what he's been doing. He's saving his reputation from such a long time.
Exactly.
And suddenly he becomes this angry guy. Because I was just remembering, because Virat Kohli has also confronted the umpires a lot of time. But I've not seen him do that, after when he's in pavilion and then coming into the pitch and saying something. That is completely, I mean, that I've never seen him doing. This was completely, and that's what I'm saying, that I think last 2-3 years I've seen I've noticed a lot of instances where he has lost his cool on the field, and obviously outside of the field as well, probably. That's what we saw in that IPL match. And about sugarcoating, I think I didn't mention this, but I was actually, since when he retired, I wanted to see some clips about his retirement, like what people said and everything.
Oh yeah.
And I searched on YouTube. I only saw nice things.
Can I say something before I forget it, because you can continue. I just have a tweet from one of your favorite, Ajinkya Rahane. He said, guys, you were saying something about the most defeated Dhoni. He said, I'm the most undefeated ever. And there's a live party which is on YouTube, we can actually watch, which is a party. The party giver is, the host is, and wait for it, Rishabh Pant. He's been partying, and I just realized the party has not started today. It's been starting since August 15 and has not stopped. So they're actually going to make some world record for the party. And the Virat Kohli's called him, like, dude, you got to stop partying. Otherwise, how will you actually come to the team? So that guy's been partying non-stop. He's like, the cock blocker is gone. The Dhoni's gone. I'm going to be the best ever. It's like, oh, Jesus. Yeah. Sorry, please continue. I just wanted to say that Ajinkya just didn't want to be rude to
in fact,
these guys.
there was a, I think last year there was a video of this guy, Rishabh Pant, saying something to Dhoni, because it was an IPL advertisement, and he got a lot of shit Dhoni's fan. Like, how can you say something like
In an
that to Dhoni?
advertisement? Seriously?
In an
He
advertisement,
didn't even
yeah.
write that shit, man. These guys don't understand how acting works. You don't say what you want to say. You say what you're told to say. Jesus Christ. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Dhoni must be like, I'm not saying that.
So imagine what will happen to our podcast and what the ratio of likes and dislikes. I don't know. I don't even want to think about. So I was just saying that
Yeah, all the
sugarcoating,
abuses in Hindi. माँ बहन ये वो उसको कर सब चूतिया हो तुम.
yeah. So yeah, I was just talking about this sugarcoating stuff, and I actually just searched in Google just to remember the sequence of events and how he retired and what people were thinking. And I saw at least 12 to 13 videos. I didn't see the whole thing because in every video they were just praising him. Oh, Dhoni ne ऐसा कर दिया, उन्होंने ही मैच टाई कराया. I mean, first of all, tying a match, I don't know, it is a big achievement for
That's an
some
achievement.
people. But then saying that he only did, yeah, because of him only the match was tied. Just see the match. There were like a lot of people who played for longer period of time. I'm talking about the last match he played. And then everyone is talking so much. Yeah, he was the greatest captain, and now this day will be remembered. Like you were saying that this day, 15th August, will be remembered as the day when
That's
he
the day.
retired.
Yeah, because it makes him like puts it on him. By the way, Sushant also just from Purgatory just tweeted that amazing stuff happening. Purgatory is the middle of the hell and heaven because we're not decided yet. So
Yeah,
again,
so-
out of line joke. Continue.
Yeah, this podcast is going to hell.
So he said, "I love Dhoni," and then Shah Rukh Khan said, "Yeah, Sushant loves me so much. He's even tweeting about me from."
Even Dhoni
Except
loves
even
me.
realizing that it was not Shah Rukh Khan, it was Dhoni. He was like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. He just probably meant me. He just misspelled it." Yeah, go on.
So I was just saying that saw so many videos and they're just praising him. There's no, and in fact there's no
No
information as well.
objectivity. No objectivity.
There's no information as well. The reason I was watching this video is to get information, to see the sequence of events, like what happened. For the longest period of time, they're just talking about how great he is.
That's why I never watched anything, because how do I do any research? Because this is exactly the way you're doing research. I would do the same way, right? But I know what's going to happen. They're just going to tell me, oh, he lost the match, but if he was not playing for India, we would have actually lost the match. Oh, not, but he's great. He's lost the match. He's great.
He's great, yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
So that's the amount of sugarcoating
Dude is
happens.
pressing all the right
for him.
buttons.
Yeah,
The
and,
right now nationalistic fervor. The guy even wear
Yeah.
masks of like which has the army imprint.
And forget about all these things, right? Biggest thing which happened in IPL, the match fixing saga, where his team
Oh
was.
yeah, how he got away.
Yeah, his team was banned for a couple of years. He didn't say anything about it. In fact, they made a series, TV series, which is on Hotstar. I just watched the first episode. Then like, okay, मुझसे ना हो पाएगा. Then then it just dances around that topic, that because if he's the captain, how can you not be knowing about this thing, right? When people are when your team owner is taking money to fix results and what, I don't want to get into that.
Of course, and he, by the way, never said anything about COVID-19 because for him it never happened.
So these things are there, obviously, and a lot of things because everything gets eclipsed due to the World Cup win, the T20 and the one days, and as you said, nobody cares about Champions Trophy apart from Pakistan. So Pakistanis who are watching, yeah, you can always go and watch the highlights of that match you won against us, because whenever you throw something at them, they'll say, but man, हमने तो हराया था तुमको Champions Trophy में. So that's always on their mind. So yeah, anything which you say about him, and he has done great, and I think in this podcast, whoever has heard us till now, or whoever has seen us till now, and they're saying, what are you guys talking about? You're only shitting on Dhoni. Why you're not talking about his great things? Because there are millions of videos already there on the YouTube or whatever, whichever platform you're watching these videos on. But no one talks about these things, right? No one talks about the things where he has screwed up, and where he has because the way he has behaved in a couple of last 3-4 years, it feels like he thinks that he is just bigger than anyone, just bigger than cricket. No
And
one
I
can
really
touch him.
want to I really want to clarify now that you said that people have watched this thing. I'm never going to shit on somebody who is just shit, because I was a cricket player, and if I were captain of India, I would have been shit. I would have been as bad as Tendulkar, right? As a captain, with no
Yeah.
talent, of course. My point was that you don't give up. You try your best, and if you fail, it's perfectly okay. If people actually blame people for failing, who they're trying their best, they are shit. Because if I'm going to
Yeah.
shit all over like Sadagopan Ramesh or something, whose feet did not move, or Venkatesh Prasad, who was apparently a fast bowler, but Kumble bowled faster than him. So, but it was not for lack of trying, right? Prasad's like, I can't bowl any faster, but I know how to bowl, and that's how I became the coach, because that he should have become a coach at 17, right? So, Saurav Ganguly, he just, after a point in time, he just did not have the same ability of to be a test player. And he was just trying his best, and he could not do it. He could not do it. That's why I shit all over Tendulkar a lot of times, because, dude, how do you compare Tendulkar's ability with fucking anybody?
Yeah.
Right? So Tendulkar was just absolute genius. And when I always picked Brian Lara over him, it's because Brian Lara played some matches when he really had to play, and he would just be just brilliant. And Tendulkar did not do that. But when you talk about just like, picking one player out of these two who was the more greater player by natural talent or just absolute ability, it will be just, I will just still lean on Lara, but that's just my choice, because I just like him more. But how do you say Tendulkar was actually less than Lara, or Lara was less than Tendulkar? Because like, if you really watch that cricket at that point in time, I mean, watching these people was just like, man, it was just orgasmic. Like when these guys were on, they were on. Because you watch Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli plays amazing cricket, but you don't get orgasms, like, generally. Like he plays really good. He's just very dogged. But these guys are just like, ugh, doesn't even matter. It's like Vivian Richards, or like, there's something like if Virat Kohli is playing, and he'll be like, and by the way, Virat Kohli is fucking amazing. But when Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers is playing, there's something like, something, this is beautiful about AB de Villiers. He just, because you don't know what he's going to do. He's just going to fucking kill you. And that's when we're comparing the best with best. My point was that this guy, when he was wearing India colors, and he keeps talking about how much he loves India and how much this means to him. And that's not true. That is a facade. Just the way whole is, I'm so super cool, Dhoni is a facade. Yes, he actually is very cool when the push comes to shove. He does not get nervous. But sometimes it feels like, dude, you don't even fucking give a shit.
Yeah, sometimes.
Because nobody can actually touch you. And that's what happened. He is the Sarkar. He's the real Sarkar. And now he's going to be gone, but he's going to continue playing IPL Pro. And apparently this guy, whoever the chief is he still the chief? The guy, the South Indian guy. What's his name?
Srinivasan.
Srinivasan. Is he still the chief? Is he always going to be chief? Or
Chief of
like
what?
Is he chief of IPL or something? What is he?
No. He's not. He's nothing now. I mean, he's just the chief of CSK.
CSK. Okay. But this guy said, right, that Dhoni can play till whenever he wants. When you say something like, when the chief says something like this, right, when the biggest people, it should never ever happen. If you're playing cricket, or you're playing anything in a bank job, in a government job, anything, this should never happen, that you can be here till whenever you want. Because what that will do is result in complacency. And then you're like,
Unless
you know what?
it's your papa's company.
Exactly. Only thing I have to do is check the buttons, right? Check all the boxes. And then you'll never do something different. You should always be, the sword should be hanging on your head. Just like every English opener.
Exactly.
Now Rory Burns, 6 months ago, he was like, you're the best opener. Now suddenly he's like, Rory Burns, you're going to be gone. Josh Butler, what's going to happen? And now one person plays, and because Ben Stokes is back home, not in England, in New Zealand, because all of their players from somewhere else. So now Zach Crawley comes in, apparently scored a fucking double century or something. So, but once Ben Stokes comes in, somebody will go out. So people are always scared. You need to be, because competition is something what we need, and that's what has made this team amazing. That's what created Jasprit Bumrah and all this players. I would have never imagined a bowler like Jasprit Bumrah from India, man, because that's the kind of bowler you'll get in South Africa or something, or like something crazy. But you'll never get something like that here. So I think those are few points. We're like almost reaching 1 hour. I've not written much, so I'm just asking, like, what do you see? You want to add anything else? Like, I think he's going to play IPL. I think it's perfectly fine for IPL. And do you really think Virat Kohli will win IPL and actually finally say, shut the fuck up, Mr. Gautam Gambhir, your favorite ever? Because Gautam Gambhir always says, what has this guy won? Nothing, nothing and nothing. And Mr. Gambhir says, I've won IPL. He's won IPL twice or something, has he?
Yeah, he has won twice.
Gautam Gambhir with KKR, and Shah Rukh Khan's like, no, I won. No, sir, you have not won anything. You're putting in money into something is you don't win. You don't get like
I have won,
medal
because
trophy.
IPL loves me.
Because you can't see me, but he does this like waving, kissing and standing there. I hope one day he just falls over. Like, he gets so close, right? He gets falls over. But obviously, guys is very careful, right? But I'm pretty sure they probably tie him up or something which you can't see.
Even he fought once, remember that time?
Oh
when
yeah, he got banned. Dude,
Yeah,
he repercussions against him was fair and actually very harsh. Imagine that, when he did that, he got banned for like 5 years or something like that.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, like
And
that guy
imagine
got
Dhoni
Dhoni
doing
gets banned
that.
for 50% match fee. Like, he cares about the match fee. Like, okay, you're gonna not pay me $2,000. Okay,
See, that's why I feel for Gambhir. Poor guy did so much, but he doesn't get recognition all the time. Whenever this topic comes out about the World Cup win, he never gets a mention. That he
Dude,
also played.
if Gautam Gambhir does not leave money for you or something important in his will right now, I'm gonna call Gautam Gambhir extremely ungrateful. Okay, because I've not seen a more stout supporter of Gautam Gambhir, and there will never be a stout supporter, because you should get a tattoo done. Like, I love Gautam Gambhir, or like, I mean, forget the tattoo. I already know. If I know anybody, I have never seen anybody love anybody more that nobody cares about anymore. Okay, like, because people, when I say nobody cares about, I'm saying obviously a great player, but we only care about very few people. Like Mahendra Singh Dhoni or Virat Kohli or Sachin Tendulkar, or at one time Viren Sehwag, at one time Mohammad Azharuddin obviously got ruined and everything. But no, people forget rest of the players all the time.
All the time, yeah, exactly.
Sometimes we actually make fun of people, but in a way we actually reminding you that these people were there. Like Suresh Raina, like Parthiv Patel. Parthiv Patel, like, I'm still playing, buddy. I'm still playing. What is going on?
And don't forget Dinesh Karthik, because we always talk about Dhoni because he
Nobody cares about Dinesh Karthik anymore. And now people call him some angry guy.
He has been there in lot of matches in series where he has scored so many runs. In fact, the last time we won in England in a test series, he was the highest scorer in the series.
The guy started before Dhoni or something. I don't know. He's been playing forever.
Yeah. He started before Dhoni, and he was supposed to be the the top wicket keeper, and then suddenly this guy came and just snatched. Just snatch all the opportunities from these two people. Don't forget Parthiv Patel here.
Oh, that's what probably messed up his marriage, right? Because I remember, I don't know if that probably would have happened, but he got divorced and then he married another squash player or something later on.
Oh yeah, he married. In fact, that's another sad story. I know I'm laughing because it's kind of sad but funny.
What is sad? Did he divorce?
Sad is that his first wife actually got married to Murli Vijay.
Murli Vijay? Is she hot or what?
I don't know.
I'm Googling right now.
Yeah, so he went into a lot of depression, Dinesh Karthik, and then I think that's why I think for 3 to 4 years he was just completely out of the picture. And then I'm forgetting the name of the player, but some ex-Indian player.
Oh, she had an extramarital affair.
Yes,
That's the problem.
yes,
So
yeah.
he was depressed.
Yeah.
Then he got married to somebody, like, I always rather go with somebody who's like super fitness freak, right? Because that other girl is squash player or something. So
now they are happily married. I think her name is Deepika.
You're right. I'm just trying to. I said wife. It just comes like was betrayed by his first wife. Dude, I just want to know his wife's name. It's like, stop doing all this stuff. So Deepika Karthik, Palikal, her name is. They married in 2015, and before he was married with Nikita. So it's very similar names, Nikita, Deepika.
Yeah, Nikita.
So yeah.
Deepika.
And now
So,
the funny name is her name comes up with Nikita Vijay now.
Nikita Vijay. And imagine who is laughing now. Murli Vijay is completely out. At least Dinesh Karthik is there. He's playing IPL and everything. So
And Dinesh Karthik is still not retired, by the way, I think. Officially.
He has not retired, but yeah.
Oh, he started before Dhoni, few months before Dhoni. This is amazing, man. This is amazing statistics. He's still not retired.
Yeah, that's what.
He's an Indian cricket player. He's like, I'm never retiring. I'm playing forever. And he's just 35, so he must be very, very, very young when he started in 24. Like, he must be 19 years old. Yeah, crazy. Born in June, our month. Juners. The Juners.
So I think, Dinesh Karthik, if you see, he's there like Forrest Gump in all the important wins in India.
He's the Forrest Gump. Parthiv Patel is a Forrest Gump, and another guy who's that, even the leg spinner is a Forrest Gump. Piyush Chawla is a Forrest Gump. And then one more player, right, who keeps coming back in and out. Who is it? Who's been playing forever? Fucking hell. I just had a name and I said Piyush Chawla and I completely forgot. Who's been playing like forever?
Oh, that guy, fat guy.
The fat guy. We still have fat guys with all the yo-yo tests.
No,
Anyway, forget about it. I've just completely messed it
so
up.
anyway, so yeah, not waste. I mean, I will obviously edit it, but yeah, just saying that Dinesh Karthik has still not retired, and he has, whenever he got the opportunity, he is not able to sustain his position because obviously there is so much competition, and he to include him as just a batsman, it was difficult. But if you see, whenever he got the opportunity, last time the biggest innings he played was in Sri Lanka when we, I think, needed 24 or 25 runs in last 10 balls, and he just came and smashed 4 sixes and won the match. So yeah, Dinesh Karthik has been very, very unfortunate in his personal life, and I don't know how he came to Dinesh Karthik, but yeah, that's about Dinesh Karthik. So coming back to Dhoni,
Yeah, last words.
So coming back to Dhoni, I think he has his career has been a story of two halves. One half is obviously before winning the World Cup.
Before 10 July, actually, specifically 2011.
Yeah. And the second part is complete, like it gets worse and worse as the time passes. The second half of his career. First, he just completely shits the bed in test matches, and then one day also he starts getting very, I don't know what to say, but like he starts overestimating himself. That
he wanted to be the world champion of not outs.
Yeah.
So his average stays 50 plus, which he did, by the way. He won.
Yeah. There were a lot of matches. I didn't make a list, but there are a lot of matches where he played so slow that we almost lost. And sometimes he played slow and then got out at the wrong time. So a lot of things happened.
Dude, people get shouted at those things when something like that happened, right?
Yes, exactly.
But you know when nobody can touch you, like literally.
Yeah,
the worst part was people have to come back and defend him when some people are shouting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this always happened because after some time, right now he has retired, so everyone is talking nicely about him. But there were a lot of people who started questioning his position, especially people who are not from Chennai. So he started us.
He's not from
questioning his
Chennai.
position.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, it's very it was very interesting, and all those 13 months, I think this guy was in complete depression.
Who was in depression?
This guy, dude.
Pant?
Pant, yeah. He's saying, oh,
that's why the party is not stopping. He's like, this party is going to go on.
Is not stopping. Even in the quarantine in Dubai right now, because they are in quarantine in Dubai. I don't know. Maybe.
Rishabh Pant probably doesn't understand what is quarantine. He thinks it's the name of fucking vodka. He thinks it's the name of vodka. So he's like, we have to be quarantined. He's like, okay, no problem. I have stock quarantines.
So, yeah. So last thing about this is this. As I have said continuously during this podcast, that when people become big, they start worrying about their reputation, and then they become very soft, and that's the trend which we have seen with a lot of people. This has happened not just in cricket, and this is one of the extreme examples. And Dhoni has been money minded, and that's why a lot of his decisions you will see very calculated. He takes very calculated decisions. That's why he's very clinical in that sense. And so sad. Now I think he will continue playing IPL, and I don't see at least for a couple of years. I think he will still continue. And if his aura starts waning, then probably he'll.
Dude, he'll only go if his aura starts waning, because he'll know when to go. But he will keep milking the situation till he can, because there are a lot of contracts that are running on him continuously playing.
He might even play other leagues as well. We don't know. But he can't just play IPL, right? Because you need to keep fit. So he has to continue playing other places. So he will play. And that's why the contracts keep running. Because particularly right now, the contracts are running into like annual basis around can be around 200 plus crores, right? So that's a lot of money to let go. And why would he let go? And plus, he loves all the adulation. And everybody loves him apart from us bastard people and couple of Manjrekars and everybody. So who cares about that? So I think on this note, for me, for the world, for most of the India, it's going to be like the national holiday for Dhoni retirement. For me, it's but Azadi from Dhoni for the country.
Azadi.
So, and I'm going to wait next time now. Who's going to now hijack the 26th January and 2nd October now? Which genius will do that? Chetri must be like, oh, I can retire on 2nd October because people have been asking me to retire. I'm only 37 or something. So I might retire. But like, it's football. We can't get another player. So people will, I'm pretty sure this trend will follow because people always follow big people. And now people are like, let me hijack another big holiday. Please do not hijack. Please be smart. Do not hijack Diwali because dates change, by the way. You know that, right? Guys, do not hijack Diwali. Dates change. And please, if you're Muslim, don't hijack Eid also. That also changes. Because please be smart. Okay, don't be from
Christmas.
People like TikTokers are like right now losing their minds. Like, what do we do? We are the TikToker. We are born to TikTok. What do we do? Do I go to China now? People like, please let me, Papa, go to some other country. Please let me go. I want to play TikTok. I'm pretty sure people have TikTok because of the VPN and all that stuff, right? So people aren't. Okay, on that note, if you liked or disliked it, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up. I just said like we'd like to dislike, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more nonsense, more original views at least. Even if you don't like us, it's going to be original. It's not going to be the same shit that you've heard everywhere that Bikram Google. You would have wasted all your time where you just Googled one thing like, please just tell me an aggregator website. What do people think? We love him. The aggregator websites, they should be the aggregator. The result of everything, everybody loves Dhoni. It's like everybody loves Raymond. There was some 90s big show I used to watch in late 90s. Everybody loves Raymond. And now everybody loves Dhoni. Let's see how the legend goes on forever. But eventually in the longer run, let's see. But I think it was a good one. So more than an hour, around 70 minutes. So have a good rest of the weekend. Enjoy. And let's see who hijacks the next holiday. Take care and stay awesome. Bye-bye.
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 Oh, I just bumped my mic.